Greetings, I'm back. I have no real excuse for being away for so long except for the fact that I was lazy. And yes, my art style did change. I have new upgrades such as hands and shading. Enjoy the recipe. Today's recipe is Spuma de Capsuni or strawberry foam. After you have washed your strawberries, you must cut off the leaves because you're not a barbarian. And I used about 8 strawberries for 3 cups. Now, of course, you must cut them. I took a painfully long time doing this, however, and I just cut them into eighths and then down the middle, so I guess into 16ths. You don't need to dice them, just enough to get the juice out. Of course, adding sugar is just to your taste, but since we do kind of want to make this a thick syrup, you want to add a little bit more. I added about 3 tablespoons for mine, but it depends on how sweet your strawberries are, obviously, and your taste, again, quite obviously. Now I just mashed them enough to get the juice out. I've said this quite a bit, but it's kind of important, and I will put them into a small pan afterwards. Turn your stove to about medium heat and place your pan on top. Don't add any extra water because we want this to thicken. You can mix occasionally so that the sugar doesn't harden around the edges, but this is not necessary and we're going to be preparing our eggs meanwhile. Separate the egg whites out of 2 eggs and put them into a larger bowl so you can whip them up. There's no specific amount of time for you to leave your pot onto the stove, but just until they look kind of foamy. Keep your strawberries on low heat so when you mix them with the eggs, it will in turn cook them and you won't get salmonella or other food illnesses. I whipped my eggs by hand because I like getting a nice workout in, I guess, but you don't need to. I forgot to film me mixing them together little by little, but here's the animated reenactment. Voila! It's done, but continue mixing afterwards so it's like a foam or whipped cream. You may play this however you want. I put these into some nice cups and I filled it up each about halfway, but it doesn't really matter. I filled it with a spoon and made it look kind of fancy with some nice blobs of foam. To make these pretty cool strawberry flowers, just follow what I'm doing, but I just cut little slivers along the edges halfway down, maybe a bit more, and then I flipped it out so it would look like a petal. And then I went layer by layer. I made about 3 layers. I would recommend starting down then going up because otherwise you make the top ones too big. Oh yeah, you can cut off the top if you want. It doesn't really matter. I just did it in this video, but either way it's a nice snack to eat. They may sink a little into the foam, that's fine. There's nothing really you can do about that except for maybe trying to make the foam a little bit more stiff. Now I just slice the strawberry into pieces and put them around the flowers. Traditionally, you're meant to eat these cool, so you would put them in the fridge for a few hours and then eat them afterwards. It's your choice really, but if you do end up having any excess, then you can just put it in the freezer for a couple of hours or overnight, and it makes a really good ice cream. Thank you for watching. Enjoy! Happy holidays!